Hello, this is Kevin Simons. Welcome everyone to this special webinar entitled Low Cost, No Cost Ways to Get More Patients Now. We're excited to bring this presentation to you because we've got the technology your patients want, and we've got the marketing strategies to help you promote these body contouring services to your patient. And that's what you will get tonight. I'll introduce our guest speaker in a minute, and then stay tuned because I have some very exciting offer to make to you at the end of Catherine's presentation. So let's get started. What's new at Total Body Contouring? We've launched the GPSLipo tour. We're taking the GPSLipo to select offices around the U.S. We're bringing the system into your office for a demo with your patient. GPSLipo is the first system in the history of liposuction where the doctor can see what you're doing under the skin. As a result, outcomes are more even for better skin contraction. We are also seeing smoother and toner legs when treated with GPSLipo. So now let me introduce our guest speaker for the evening. We've partnered with Catherine Maley because we are well aware of the importance of being able to promote body contour procedures once you receive our laser. And Catherine is here to give you the strategies you need to ensure your new laser brings you more patients and more profit. So, who is Catherine Maley? As an aesthetic marketeer, strategist, entrepreneur, and aging baby boomer with a strong career background in sales and marketing, Catherine is in a unique position to understand the needs of the aesthetic patient, the aesthetic physician, and the staff they work with. She authored a popular book called Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, and created several patient attraction and staff training tools and programs to help you attract more patients and more profits to your aesthetic practice. Catherine is an international speaker at the medical meetings as well as a regular contributor to the top medical publications in the industry. Her team is based in San Francisco and works with countless practices to cost-effectively market their practices. Catherine, welcome to the webinar.
Thanks a lot, Kevin, for having me, and I'm really happy to be here. So I do suggest the attendees get a pen and paper handy because I might have some good strategies that you can implement now. Also, while I'm speaking, if you do have a question, you just simply type it into the question box to the side, the right side of your screen. And if I haven't answered it already, by the time I'm done, I'll be sure to answer it at the end. So let's go ahead and begin. Now this is what happens. I get calls almost every day from physicians who are frustrated. And in a nutshell, when I add them all up, here are the major complaints I'm getting. They need more patients. Their conversion rates are not what they used to be. Has anyone noticed that? It's getting a lot harder, isn't it, to get the patient to get to a yes. They love their staff, but they could use more training. And they're sick and tired of the price shoppers, and they feel like they're playing this let's make a deal with prospective patients. Now tonight's webinar is going to help address these issues and give you tangible ideas you can implement now. So here are some very easy, I'm going to just start with the easy stuff, the low cost, no cost strategies you can use to promote your aesthetic services. And let me just cough for a second, just a minute. Sorry about that. Add a sentence to your receptionist greeting informing every caller you offer this procedure. For example, good afternoon, Dr. Smith's office, now offering total body contouring. Catherine speaking, how may I help you today? Now, if said with the right energy, just like I said it, 6 out of 10 callers will want to learn more about what you just said. And of course, be sure to add a blurb to your on-hold messaging, although I really hope you're not keeping your callers on hold very often. I'll tell you, an aesthetic patient using a credit card versus an insurance card, really waiting can really hurt the whole process. Now you can use the same strategy to make outgoing calls to a targeted list of patients who have shown interest in or who would most likely be interested in a total body contouring treatment. You just want to keep it short and simple and offer them a compelling reason to learn more. For example, Connie, this is Sarah from Dr. Smith's office. I wanted to let you know we just introduced total body contouring. So if that sounds interesting to you, please call me back and I can explain our introductory offer to you. Now I'm going to talk about Ask Me About tools. I call these Ask Me About because these tools are going to prompt the visiting patient to ask you about something rather than you feel like you have to start that conversation. Because frankly, it's always a better conversation when the patient starts it than when you or your staff feel like you have to push it. I hope that makes sense. Now, in-house signage is the cheapest form of advertising, but it's often taken for granted. Now, if you've ever heard your patient say, "I didn't know you did that," you need better in-house signage. And I'm referring to your customized menu of services, your posters. They even have these cool wall clings, your procedural frequently asked questions, and you can even make up your own patient guide. I also love floor banners because they're super eye-catching and they don't take up a lot of room. They just need a catchy headline, proof, and a call to action. Now, digital photo frames are probably the best Ask Me About tool. And you know why? Because you get to show off your great work. It's excellent social proof for the skeptical patient because they can see your before and after photos. They can see that the patient got a good result. And it encourages the patient to start the conversation with you about body contouring. I just promise you it's way better when the patient starts that conversation than you do. Now, I love this one. It's a little off the charts, but lapel pins or t-shirts, I would make this fun. I would do this maybe on a Friday, have all the staff wear t-shirts, and make them fun, like "Where's the fat?" I think that's cute. Or have them wear a lapel pin that says something like GPS with a question mark. Anything that would be compelling for a visiting patient to look at them and say, "What's that all about?" And that starts the conversation. Now, here's a cosmetic questionnaire. What I find when I go to offices, they often have a questionnaire. Well, actually, they don't often have this questionnaire. But if they do, they often say, "Would you like to learn more about Botox?" Or "Would you like to learn more about something, liposuction?" I'll tell you the psychology here. People don't want to know more about the solution. They want to know how to fix their pain. So that's why my questionnaire, I always say, "What concerns you?" You know, because you're looking for what bothers them, because then you have a solution. Now, I realize tonight we're talking about body contouring, but when it comes to a cosmetic questionnaire, ask them what concerns them. Is it wrinkles? Is it blotchy skin? Is it, unwanted fat pockets? Is it, I don't know, saddlebags? Ask that kind of thing, but here's how you ask. You don't actually ask them this. This is how I've always handled a cosmetic questionnaire. The staff person who greets the visiting patient, who's walking them to the exam room, has this questionnaire on a clipboard with a pen. The staff then says, "Sarah, just so you know, we offer aesthetic services, so if you're all interested, here's a questionnaire for you. Feel free to hand it out or not." When they get to the exam room, she leaves the questionnaire and pen near the patient and then leaves the room. The patient now has the opportunity to either ignore it or fill it out. When you, the doctor, walk into the exam room, you now see that she's filled it out, she or he, and I promise you they will be handing that to you saying, "Wow, can you tell me more about that concern that I have?" Now, aesthetic patients today can be pretty skeptical, so bump up your social proof with other patient results. And the more the merrier. You can never have too much proof that other patients love their result and they love you. So fill it up with before and after photo books. As a matter of fact, I wrote this book called Your Aesthetic Practice, and in my book I interviewed a lot of patients. You know what they told me? When it came to photos, the before and after photos, it was more compelling for them to see a lot of photos than just a couple good ones. So quantity was more important than quality. That's important. So please do not take these photos lightly. Get a bunch of them. And here's also another tip. Patients want to see themselves in your photo book. If a lot of your patients are, especially nowadays, we're just such a rainbow of demographics, black and white and Asian and Hispanic, make sure you fill it up with lots of different demographics, so then they can relate to the photos that they're seeing. Now, here's an extra step that I think is even more important today. I suggest starting a testimonial album and have it say something like, "What our patients say about us," and then fill it up with emails and letters and greeting cards you get from your patients. You know those patients who love you and they send you flowers or chocolates, or they email you and they gush about you, those patients. They love you and they love their result. Capture those. Most of the time I walk in an office and they have them in a drawer somewhere. Now, that's not helping anybody. Put them in a nice album. I'm telling you, title it. This is totally what I would title it. What our patients say about us. And this just fits in beautifully with the popularity of social media today. And because patients want to hear about you from other patients that are just like them. So the more the patients tell their own story, the more credible it is. And by the way, here's a really good patient story. It includes the pain they were in, what they were uncomfortable with, what they didn't like about their body, why they chose you, and make sure they answer that question, because why they chose you is why other patients will choose you. And then what you did for them, let them say in their own words, you know, how great you were, how great the customer service was, how great their care was, and then lastly, how they feel about themselves now. That's a good patient story. Now, while a patient's waiting for you in the exam room, it's another great opportunity to impress them with your framed degrees, your Meet the Doctor piece. I call it Meet the Doctor. It's just to give them a quick recap of things like your credentials, because that's important. But I got to tell you, nowadays, almost everyone's saying that, like your credentials and your education and your skills. You know what would really kind of like pull you out of the fray would be add personality. Add things like your family, your pets, your hobbies. Add your staff, anything that you do in the community. More personality to your Meet the Doctor piece will have you looking like a multidimensional human being, and patients are very compelled to that, to see you as a live person, not just a physician, but also a family man, a community man, a husband, a wife, I mean, or what is it, husband, wife, or whatever. Okay, I would also add what's popular right now, which are the 3D videos of the procedures that prospective patients can watch. I really like these because it helps them understand the procedure better, and that can decrease the time that you spend explaining that procedure. And I really like them because they're not gory and they're not gross. They're kind of cartoonish, but very informative. Now that we covered your in-house marketing and that's in good shape, let's talk about internal marketing. And that means communicating with existing patients that already know you, they like you, they already trust you, and they're much more likely to respond to your marketing efforts. So you want to start here. And another point here, especially when you're talking about body contouring, typically I usually talk about the female aesthetic patient because they just happen to be, you know, pretty much the, 80% of this market, but not when it comes to body contouring. Now it opens it up to everybody. Men, this is a really popular procedure for men. So at this point, I would say go internal. This is your lowest hanging fruit. Because the real question is, do you want a patient one time or for a lifetime? Because I promise you, you want a patient for a lifetime, because that's where all your leverage is. You already did the hard part of attracting them to you in the first place. And now with minimal effort, you can hang on to them so they return and they refer all their friends and their family members and the men and their relatives. I mean, doesn't that just make sense? So here are some very simple strategies. If you're not staying in touch with your patients via email, I strongly suggest you start. It's obviously the cheapest and easiest way to keep your name in front of the patients, because, and if you think about it, they gave you their email, so they already trust you. And if you told them you're going to be emailing them, like let's say exclusive web offers or invitations to private events, I mean, they want to hear from you, so you have their permission. So you just want to keep them posted on what's new in your office. And emails work best when they're theme-based. Keep them short. I know in the old days they would have like e-newsletters and they would go on and on and on. People today kind of have attention spans of gnats. So I would keep it very simple, very straightforward. I would include benefit-rich copy, which means you talk about the patient and not about you. This is the time to talk about a patient. And the quickest way to do that is, here's the problem and here's the solution. And then you want to include special offers with tight expiration dates, because I'll tell you, with this medium, It's a very impulsive thing. They're going to open that email probably one time. You better hit them with a pretty compelling reason to pick up the phone and call you or email you, and then it's probably over. As a matter of fact, I do a ton of email marketing. You'll get 90% of all the responses within, gosh, 48 hours. Now, by the way, if you still send out invoices, include a get to know the fun side of our practice gift certificate. You just never know who'd be interested in total body contouring. It's amazing who's interested in that kind of procedure. Now, if you want to be different and stand out, I suggest you do what your competitors are not doing, and that's direct mail. Now, while email is cheap and easy, it's getting tougher to get them through spam and firewalls, so direct mail ensures many more of your patients will actually get your message. And then they'll possibly show it to others because it's hard copy. They'll also remember you a lot longer because it's not an email that just disappears. It's a hard copy that stays with them. So all you do is send a simple one-page letter introducing your new body contouring procedure. Now explain what it can do for them, include pictures and testimonials, and again, an introductory offer with a tight expiration date. You want to personalize it, but you want to target a specific group that's most likely interested. I wouldn't send this to the whole world because direct mail is more expensive. I would first test it with a smaller market. Like I would almost test it with like 150 letters, try it, see if it works. If it does, send it out again and again until it doesn't work. Or if it doesn't work, tweak the letter and see how it could be any better. Now, when you offer a new service, it's the perfect time to reach out to patients you haven't seen for a while. Sometimes they left you for a competitor, but they would gladly return if given the chance. So just tell them what's new and then give them a compelling reason to call you. I really like the "we miss you" because so many things happen today. So, who knows what happened? Maybe they just forgot about you. Maybe they drifted off, but they would be, I promise you, a majority would come back again if given a reason. Now, in-house seminars work really well for this type of procedure, but this is not a big party. This is an intimate presentation to a small group of a certain demographic of your patients who could use body contouring, and then you encourage them to bring a friend. And although almost everybody has, body contouring issues, you want to keep this small and intimate and pick the same type of demographic so it's a nice cohesive group. And then you just prepare a short talk, show lots of photos, and here's the secret sauce. Always have a patient there who could be your walking, talking testimonial. There should also be an incentive for them to sign up that evening. You can also host your own fundraiser, but it's a lot of work, so be sure you're up for it. And be sure you have a staff person who loves planning her own wedding or her sister's baby shower. Or better yet, if you get those calls from your children's school, those calls where they ask you for a donation of money, say this, well, better yet, offer them a buddy beauty basket with skincare products they can use in their auctions. And you want to include a get to know us gift card, one for the winner and then one for their friend. And now you just got 2 new patients out of it and you didn't have to plan a big event. So Kevin has something he wants to say here.
In regards to your open house, we actually support every one of our placements with an open house, and what we actually try to do is to attract some of your existing base, but also go outside of that and do a little external marketing to be able to bring patients in. We come in and do a very specific presentation on the actual procedure, stay there during the full time, and we have the doctor there available to do consults so that we can close those patients realistically before they leave, and it's been exceptionally successful for us.
That's a great idea, by the way. I'd take full advantage of that. So let's talk about referrals, because the quickest point between you and a new patient is her friend. Isn't that right? Now, I love the internet, but there are many points a patient touches before they get to you. They have to find your website, which is getting more challenging. Then your website has to be compelling enough for them to see something so they want to call you. Then they've got to have a really good solid conversation with your receptionist so they book the appointment. Then they have to show up for the appointment. Then they have to have a great visit with your staff who makes them feel comfortable. And then they have to have a great consultation with you, and then you all have to hope they say yes. So I would just put some energy into patient referrals, because there's a new saying this year called, what is it called? Acquisition is the new, no, patient retention and referrals is the new acquisition. So think about patient referrals. How great are they? Think about that patient who already shows up completely pre-sold on you because their friend already sang your praises. You almost don't have to say anything because your friend already did all the talking. They're not half as price sensitive because while we all think this is about price, I promise you, I am an aesthetic patient. Nobody likes a good deal more than I do, but I have to tell you, in my book, it's not all about price. We love a good price, but we also care a lot about, you know, are you skilled? Do you know what you're doing? And will I get a good result? So as much as you think it's all about price, it's not always, especially if they come referred. They're definitely going to be more loyal to you because if their friend liked you, they're going to like you, and now their friends are going to like you. You're going to get way better closing ratios. And that's going to take care of the number one frustration right now, which is how do you get this patient to say yes? And it's a lot cheaper on your marketing and advertising bill. But you can't take these patient referrals lightly. You've got to set up systems to ask for them strategically. So, and you know how when I'm saying ask for them, I don't really mean you're directly asking. My whole thing is using tools and props that are going to ask for you. So anytime you have an event, be sure to tell your patients in writing their friends are welcome. Everything I do, it has bring a friend on there. I cannot tell you, when I was, I've been doing this for 12 years, but when I was new at this, I would do like a lot of parties. And I always put on there, bring a friend. Do you know how many times they called me and said, do you mind if I bring a couple more friends? Of course not. Bring all the friends you want to bring. And then all of your emails should encourage your patients to forward to a friend. Now, I have to tell you, if you are using anybody like Constant Contact or Eye Contact, they're pretty good about this. They usually have a pretty big logo on there that says forward to a friend, so they're helpful in that regard. Now, follow-up photo notes are a great way to spread your word strategically and professionally. And in my book, I can't tell you how many doctors say, oh no, they would never show their friends this. They would never talk about this. Please. In my book, when I interviewed the patients, 82% interviewed wanted their photos. 76% would have shown them to others if available. Give your patients their photos. Let them decide if they want them or not, if they're going to show them to somebody or not. But I promise you, females for sure, men may not, but generally speaking, females cannot keep a secret very well. They're going to show at least 2 other people. Trust me on this one. Their best friend and their sister, maybe their mom, their neighbor. Believe me, they will. But here's the strategy. Be sure your name, your website, and your phone number are prominently displayed in a photo note card. So when you open it up to show the photos, the patient or the person they're showing it to sees your name and how to contact you. And you know it's really a nice approach? Here I said, like, see my handwritten note? I've changed it now. I would say, thank you for your trust, because subconsciously that means they trusted you, and now that trust transference will go over to their friend. Here's another really easy way. You just set up a referral card and display at your checkout counter. Now, I say checkout for a reason. Think about this. The patient's been in, they had a great experience with you, they're at checkout, let's say they're there for some minimal thing. They're at checkout, their wallet is open. What do they need? They need props. So they look over and they say, oh, the greatest compliment you could ever pay us is to refer your friends and family to our practice. And they say, oh, fantastic, can I take a card? And then they'll often, I've been testing this for years, they often say, do you mind if I take a few cards? I am going somewhere, you know, where I could pass them out. And you say, of course, take as many as you like. And they put them in their wallet. That's the secret sauce on this strategy. You know why? Because often, especially women, we have purses and wallets. We always have our little mini purse in our purse. If they have your cards in their wallet, and they're at wherever they are, they're out shopping with a friend, they're out for coffee, they're at a party, they're at a picnic, wherever, they always have their purse with them. That is an easy way for them to spread the word. Not only now do they say, oh, when their friend says, my God, you look fantastic, what have you been doing? Oh, da-da-da-da-da. And, well, who are you going to? Oh, well, not only do I love who I'm going to, but here's his card. That's golden. Now, here's the really important part. Thank your patients for their referrals. I cannot tell you how many patients in my book said to me, you know, quite frankly, I love the doctor, I love my result, but he or she never bothered thanking me for all the referrals I've given them, and quite frankly, I'm just not that thrilled anymore for giving them to them. That right there, think about your own life. You know, when you do something nice for somebody, don't you want them to acknowledge you and just show appreciation that, you know, that you really appreciate that they did something for you? Well, it's no different in aesthetic rejuvenation. When they do something nice for you and you acknowledge it and sincerely thank them, guess what happens? They refer a lot more people, because behavior that is rewarded is repeated. Now, it's up to you how much you want to thank them. You never want to do a fee-splitting, tit-for-tat kind of thing. You never want to say, if you give me a new patient, I will give you something like money or free treatment. You never want to get involved in that. All you want to do is let them know you love referrals, but then when they do refer, then you can send flowers, you can send a gift card just saying, oh, thanks so much for your support. Come on in for a free facial the next time you're here. Just whatever's creative that doesn't get you into trouble. But none of the above strategies are worth investing time and money in, and they will not work for you if you don't provide awesome customer service. Your patients have a wow experience with you every single time. That is your goal. That should be your new mantra, wow patient experience. So this is the issue. If you make your patients comfortable and they feel special, because that's what it is, aesthetic rejuvenation patients want to feel special, they're going to be so much more likely to return and refer and say nice things about you, both online and offline. I think we all know online reviews are here to stay. So be sure every step in your process is a good one, and it leads to ecstatic patients. They're not happy patients. They have to be ecstatic patients. That means you spruce up your office just like you spruce up your home when company is coming. Isn't that the truth? When company is coming, what do? We immediately hide everything, don't we? Same thing here. I cannot tell you how many offices I've been in where the boxes are everywhere, the files are everywhere, the reception area has magazines galore everywhere. You see this every day, so you don't even see the clutter anymore. Your new patients never see this, and they will be judging you on that. That also means fixing your phone so the caller has a great initial phone call with your receptionist. I do just a ton of phone training. And if you haven't mystery shopped your own office, I highly recommend you get a friend or a neighbor to do it for you and tape it, or well, we can certainly do it for you. But here's what I know for sure. Have you ever done the math on bad phone calls? Because I have. If you just get one phone call a day and your receptionist loses it, I don't mean you get one phone call. You get many phone calls a day, but your receptionist, if she just loses one phone call a day, and let's say that was a very simple body contouring patient. Let's just say they were just going to give you $2,000, which is way low. Do you realize if you multiply 2,000 times 5 days a week times 4 weeks a year times 12 months a year, or whatever that is, do you realize when you multiply that up, it's something like $500,000. If I'm not mistaken, it's $528,000. Oh my God, you could buy several lasers with that. So please fix your phones. And that also means the patient has a wonderful experience when they visit with your staff. That staff has got to be knowledgeable, and they've got to be driven about customer satisfaction. It's just imperative in today's world. Now, by the way, the best staff are the ones committed to ongoing improvement, and they will be if you are, since you're the leader. So I suggest weekly meetings to talk about what's working, what needs improvement, and then review your frequently asked questions about procedures. Because I guarantee visiting patients are going to ask all the staff people various questions. There's no reason your staff shouldn't be able to answer very simple questions about the procedures you offer. Now, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about external strategies to get you new patients. And I'm going to hand that off to Kevin since he's the expert on this. So Kevin, take it away.
Well, thank you, Catherine. The first component is the external marketing from a national campaign perspective. We've done with Lipo Control, been placed on the doctors recently, and we also featured, while we were featured on there, Dr. Orton actually coined the phrase, or said the phrase, this is simply like GPSLipo. But one of the things that we encourage all of our clients to do is actually take this content to not only to include it into their own existing website, but to propagate it through the office, through whether it's the actual video on a picture frame or some other way to be able to get that information out there. Then the next thing, Catherine, is the actual television advertisement. We actually do television advertisement for all of the placements that we have for our systems, for the GPSLipo. We have 3 different types of television advertisement forms that we use. The first, and you see up in the top, is the actual physician. That's the physician himself actually in his commercial. You'll be surprised with the number of physicians would like to be in their own commercial, because every commercial is customized for that individual practice. The bottom one is actually Miranda. She's one of the models or the actresses that we actually use that goes and does the actual script, does the presentation on air. We actually write out the script for you and send it to you, and we kind of go back and forth for your individual marketplace, but yet we still try to get that call to action. What we're doing now is including that open house in there, so then that patient sees the actual open house date on television, then they put it in their memory, give you a call, and then set themselves up to be able to come in. Then the third, over to the left, is what we call a lifestyle commercial. Well, those are where we have patients, one of your existing patients actually in the commercial, so that it's very, very believable because they are the patient, and we find a way to integrate them actually into the actual commercial. And then the actual web program, we all know that web is really it. When you look at what your staff is doing, even from their actual smartphones or from the PC, the statistics say this, that 65% of all of your patients, once they come in and meet with you, they go back to their house or get on their smartphone and they look up the information that you just covered with them to validate what you said. So as a result, we in fact make sure that you have a web presence. What we do is we create a website for your practice, a microsite, that actually covers the actual procedure or the actual technology that we place in your office, and we include video because we know about 44% of all of the clicks that will hit the web, they'll go right actually to the video, before and after pictures, information about you, and a link to your existing site where they can find additional information. The other benefit behind that is you're able to create some increase in your search engine optimization by having this microsite. It's just another tool out there to help to attract patients into your office. And then the other component is social media. Just like what we're doing with the GPSLipo tour, this is a special promotion that we're actually doing through Twitter, actually through a Twitter campaign where we connect with doctors and we actually tweet about the actual procedure. You, in fact, can create campaigns within your office with your existing calendar of events that you have for the entire year, and strategically line those out and have someone in your office to actually post that information on Facebook, to be able to pin pictures on Pinterest, or be able to tweet on these. And you want to do this on a consistent fashion. About 10 minutes a day, you need to adopt a little bit of time for yourself to be able to look out on your social media sphere and see what's kind of going on so that you can communicate back with your staff. Or there are a lot of doctors who tweet for themselves and they post Facebook for themselves. You have to decide what is going to be the strategy for you and what's going to work best for your practice, and definitely create an effective social media campaign for your practice. So how do we do this? How do we manage all of these different projects that are really kind of going on? We actually have a project management tool that we call Basecamp. And it's an online support where you get a 360 view of the project that is going on at all time, whether it's your television advertisement, whether it's the actual implementation or delivery of your technology, or the training for you and for your staff. every component in every step in the process is actually put in Basecamp, and it's interactive. What happens is that we will actually set it up, and if you have any question or we have a question for you, we'll actually send it out through the Basecamp system where you can communicate back with us. You can have questions about it, and we can provide all the information right within this concise system. It gives us calendaring. It gives us the ability to put files in there. So if we're pulling up different videos for your actual commercial, they're all stored in there, and you have the ability to go out and look at this 24/7 to be able to get the content that you need. So let's talk about the special promotion that we have. As you see here on the screen, it's actually 1 year free for the GPSLipo system. So we will actually bring the lipo control to your office upon the lease approval that we have through Bank of America, and we actually put the system into your office, and you have 1 year deferred payments for the system. What you also get is the Platinum Marketing Program, which gives you 100 television commercials a month for 3 months. We also provide the website, as you saw there. We will also do 2 open houses for your practice. And what we've been able to do in the past 3 open houses is be able to sign up 19 patients, which is really exciting, so that we know that we do actual presentation for you during that time, so that you're able to go out and book patients while we're actually there. And that is the actual program that we offer, and it's basically through the Bank of America. Speak to myself or send me an email, or you can actually send in a little question over to the side. We'll have one of our sales representatives to get in contact with you in regards to the promotion. And Catherine?
Now here's another great resource for you. It's the only resource you need for patient attraction and staff training. So in a nutshell, this contains almost everything I know. All right, 90% of what I know about converting patients, internet marketing, mobile marketing, blogging, information marketing, and a lot more. Now there's a doctor's lounge full of live presentations from medical meetings. I actually speak all over the world. I just got back from Geneva, Switzerland, so now I'm international. There's also a staff break room where I use quick tip videos to train your receptionist to convert callers to appointments, and train your patient care coordinator to convert more consultations so patients actually say yes. Now there's also an entire ready-made graphic design library of patient attraction strategies you can download and personalize when you're ready to go. As a matter of fact, a lot of the templates I showed in this talk, they're all there in the club. So as soon as you join, you get an APA, it's called APA for Aesthetic Profits Association. You get a member's binder, and it's shipped to you, and it's just chock full of helpful tools. And by the way, I give you that laminated phone guide. You know I was talking about fixing your phones? I give you a laminated phone guide that you keep by your telephone. It's got my 5 phone fixes. If your receptionist would just use the 5 phone fixes on that laminated guide, you'll make an extra $500,000 this year. Also, it's got audio CDs of mystery shopping with my critiques that you can use at staff meetings, because this isn't about, reprimanding anyone for not answering the phone correctly. It's about showing role modeling, like how do you want them to answer the phone. You also get a copy of my book, lots of special reports, and you just stay updated on everything so you're in the know, because the world is changing so quickly now. That's my job, to make sure you stay up on things. And with that, there's that. You just go to aestheticprofits.com, and everything you need is going to be there. It's half off thanks to Kevin, because we are partnering together. Because I'll tell you what, one thing about Kevin, he really understands how important it is to support you in your purchase of his equipment. He really is here to partner with you. So together, we're really bringing you a nice combination there. So I'm going to open it up to questions now, and they've been coming in while we've been talking, so I'm going to look at them now. If you do have a question, just simply type it into the question box, and I'll answer it if I have not already. Somebody's asking, is there any kind of deadline date on this special offer, Kevin? Because it's really a good offer.
Yes, the actual deadline is at the end of September, which Bank of America had provided for us. It's at the end
you just
quarter. Obviously, we're at the end of the third quarter.
Oh, you're breaking up.
I'm sorry?
You're breaking up.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Catherine?
Yes.
Okay, great. The actual promotion goes through the end of the quarter, so get in contact with myself or one of the other total body contouring representatives, and we'll be able to forward the information out to you.
Okay. Now, there's a question about what kind of training comes with this, because I understand that, because I know a lot of doctors who have gotten the laser, they got a quick training, and then, wow, then they just kind of were left with it. How's your training?
Yes. Well, the good part about it is actually a 12-day training program that comes with the system. It depends upon whether you have previous liposuction experience or not. If you do have previous liposuction experience, then you'd actually do the 2 days hands-on training, plus we actually send our nurse in to work with you for 2 days, actually 1 day initially, and then she follows up with another visit within a month or a month afterwards. And then we actually have 2 advanced users workshops throughout the year, which is really fun because it's an opportunity for users around the United States together and talk about actually procedures, outcomes, and you get a chance to share on new marketing techniques also. So that is the training program. If you don't have any liposuction experience at all, then what we do is we have an in-office tumescent liposuction course that's offered by Practical CME that we actually provide for you also. And that gives you a total of 12 days of liposuction training.
Nice. There's another question about photos. They said, what if I'm brand new and I don't have any photos? What am I going to do? You want to answer that one?
Yeah, the good part about that is we actually provide for you some photos that we initially get when you get your marketing program. Those are standard photos that we have that we will give you. The good part about the training program is since you have a multi-phase training program, is you will be working on multiple patients. So we're going to take those patients and include those in your before and afters, and then we also will be able, we would encourage you to actually do a video, and within doing that video presentation, you would actually build your portfolio of not only pictures but some actual video also.
You know, I'll also add to that. We've done that a lot in practices that were new at a certain procedure, and for 1 month we did have a family and friends discount program, and we were being totally upfront saying it's half off for this month only. Bring in your family, your friends. We always started with staff. They would spread the word. They'd go out through the community, and we would be really upfront and say, you know what, it's a brand new procedure. We're new at this. We want to get some experience, but you know, we're giving you a really great price on this. But for that, we need permission to have your photos, and you have to come back to get your after photos. You have to give us a written testimonial, a video testimonial. Today would be terrific as well. And what a great way to build up that album quickly. And the last question we have is something about how long does a treatment take?
Typically, if you're looking at an average abdomen, let's say of a lady of a 28 BMI, basically the procedure is faster than laser liposuction. It actually is 1/3 the time. Plus, you're able to get not only a reduction in time, but less energy put in the area. As a result, your patient is going to have less pain associated with it in the long run. So you're looking at an average abdomen of a 28 BMI. The amount of time you will be lacing that person typically is going to be about 45 minutes, in that 45-minute range if you're doing the abdomen. And if you want to bring on the suction, you're bringing on suction with it, and then the infusion from the beginning of the procedure. So you're looking at an hour and a half to 2 hours to do the actual procedure.
Nice. Okay, Kevin, that's all I have. If you have any parting comments, I am done.
No, well, thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. We appreciate you spending time with us, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thanks so much,
Have a good
everyone.
night.
Good night.